everybody. So I can't believe it, here we are, it's another week. But this week is gonna be a little bit different than some of our previous weeks. So we only have 4 days of school this week. So this is kind of gonna be a little bit of a condensed week and a little bit of a shortened story. We're not gonna spend quite as much time on some things as we did because Wednesday is Veterans Day. So you won't have to even log onto your computer if you don't want to. There's no morning attendance question. There's just a day off for you to enjoy. And we're actually gonna have a folder with some Veterans Day activities, so you can look at those, and maybe if you wanna check those out, that's a great idea too. Okay, so our story this week is going to be, What Do Illustrators Do? And this is written and illustrated by Eileen Cristello. So that means she drew the pictures and she wrote the words. She's pretty talented. And I really like this story. It is a factual story, so you're gonna learn lots of things about how do illustrators do what they do, but it's told in a fun, neat kind of way. So if we look over here at our sidebar, you can see here's our target skill, and it's about text and graphic features. And text and graphic features are a really important thing to be aware of, especially when we're reading nonfiction, because they give a lot of information in those parts. So we're going to talk more about that, and you'll find out exactly what are text and graphic features. And then our genre, you know we got to talk about it every week. Our genre is informational text. So an informational text gives you facts about a topic. So as you read, you're going to look for details that support facts, the way the information is organized, and illustrations that help explain the topic. So kind of as just like a little preview, as you're going through, you're going to be looking for little details. Do you see how these are pictures with text in them? And then there's a dog and a cat with little speech bubbles. Those are some of the text and graphic features that you're going to see in this book. And you want to make sure that you don't skip over them, okay? Because they're going to give you a lot of information to go along with our informational text. All right, so I do want to point out our vocabulary before we get started so that way you're familiar with it before you start reading. So our first word is imagine. And imagine means to picture something in your mind. Maybe you've heard somebody say you have a good imagination. It means you're creative. You can think things up in your mind. Our second word is tools. So tools are something that someone uses to do a job. A lot of times you might think of tools as a hammer and nails and a screwdriver, which those definitely are tools for maybe a construction worker, but an illustrator is going to need different tools like paintbrushes, pens, pencils. So tools are just whatever items you need to get a job done. Our next word is illustrate. And illustrate means to draw pictures for something, usually a story, but sometimes other things. Number 4 is scribbles. And scribbles are messy drawings, usually that don't make anything. So a lot of times if you give a young child a crayon or something to write with, they just go, actually I'll show you a scribble. That's a scribble. It's not really a picture. It doesn't really have a shape. It's just kind of a mess of lines and drawing. All right, our 5th word is sketches. And sketches are rough drawings. So it's different from a scribble because it's a drawing. It has a shape, it has a purpose, but it's not the finished product. Our 6th word is tracing. And tracing is when you make an exact copy of something. So maybe if you've ever seen a really cool picture that you wanted to draw, you put a piece of white paper over it and then you traced it on the white paper. It's making an exact copy. Our 7th word is research. And research is when you try to find something out about a topic. So if you think back to when we read Bat Loves the Night, we had a whole folder about places where you could do research about bats, which means look up information to find out more about them. And our last word is textures. And textures is how something looks and feels. So if you look at, I'm wearing a cotton t-shirt and the texture is very soft. If I touch the desk in front of me, the texture is smooth. But what if I went outside and touched gravel? What would that texture be? Yeah, it may be sharp or rough or rocky. Okay, so that is our introduction and our vocabulary words. You're now going to check out the slideshow down below and make sure that you listen to your story read aloud on slide 2.